Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about translations and writing functions. Okay, so translations, well, transformations are functions, period. So here we go. This right here is a function. And this is this is the, like, I guess the formula, or you could say the form that we use to write a translation function. This part right here is the operation. It tells us that what we're going to do is a translation. So we use the letter T, okay? And then the A and the B. The A tells us what's happening to the X, and the B tells us what's happening to the Y coordinates. So let's go over here real quick. If A is positive, then that means its X is moving to the right, right? The X coordinate has been moved to the right. If A is negative, that means the X coordinate went to the left. If B is positive, that means the Y coordinate went up. If B is negative, that means the Y coordinate went down. Okay? So the other part that I want to bring out to you is this part right here of the function is what we call the pre-image. It's the original points. Okay? The original points are what we also call the domain, right? The input, because remember we said this is a function. So if it's a function, that means we have a domain and a range. The original points are the domain or the input. Then this part right here is the image, which is the resulting points. The resulting points are what we also call the range or the output. So I know this is kind of weird, right? Because when we learned about domain and range before, when the X coordinates were the domain, right? And then the Y coordinate was the range. Well, that's a little different, right? So same idea, but in this case, we have a whole set of points. That's the domain. And then we have a whole set of points. That's the range. So we input a set of points. We perform this operation on it of shifting it left, right, up, or down, and then output a whole nother set of points that has already been shifted right, left, up, or down. So let me go ahead and give you an example of it. Here we have the triangle ABC with the vertices -2, 1, 3, 5, and 6, 2. This problem says the triangle was translated 1 unit to the right and 3 units down. Whoa. All right. So remember we said to the right means that A is positive, right? And then down means that Y is going to be negative. So the way you write the function rule for this would be T, A is going to be a positive 1 because it went 1 to the right, and B is going to be a -3 because it went 3 units down. So you would write that in front of the XY, and then inside the parentheses, you would say X plus 1 because we moved it to the right, and Y -3 because it went down. And that's how you write the function rule. Now let's go ahead and apply this function rule to these points. So that means we are going to add 1 to all the X coordinates. And then we're going to subtract 3 from all the Y coordinates. So our image points are going to be, let's do the work. So -2 plus 1, right? 3 plus 1, and 6 plus 1. And then for the Y coordinates, we're going to have -1 minus 3, 5 minus 3, and 2 minus 3. And so now we just do the calculations and we have our new points. So -2 plus 1 is a -1. And -1 minus 3 is -4. So that's our new A. B is going to be 3 plus 4 is 4. Excuse me, 3 plus 1 is 4. Talking too fast. 5 minus 3 is 2. 6 plus 1 is 7. And 2 minus 3 is -1. And that's it. That's how we do that first example. Let's pause right here so you can write things down. All right, so now we're ready for our second example. So in this problem, you notice we have a red image and a blue image. But look closely at the image. Do you notice that the A, the B, the C, and the A prime, look, that we call that a prime because it has an apostrophe, B prime and C prime. I wanted you to pay attention to the letters so that you can see the difference. All right. Now, why am I saying that? Because the pre-image doesn't have the primes on it. The pre-image, in this case, is going to be in blue. The image, which has the prime on it, is going to be in red. So the pre-image is where we started, right? This is where we started. It's our, remember we said domain. It's our input, right? And then the image is where we ended, is the resulting picture. So remember that is our range, right? That's our output. So we are going to determine what is the function rule for this picture. That's what we're going to do. The way you figure out what the function rule for this picture is, you go ahead and you choose corresponding points. What do I mean by corresponding? I mean, you match the points, right? So if I'm going to look at B, then I'm going to look at B prime. I'm going to match the points. So those are the points that I'm going to look at. So let's look at B, and then we're going to look at B prime. And we want to find out how was the pre-image moved to the image. Well, visually, we can tell that the blue image moved to the left and it moved down to become the red image. So left and down, all right? So left refers to the X coordinates, down refers to the Y coordinates. If you remember up here, we talked about, right, left is going to be negative, down, which is A, right, the X coordinate, down is also going to be negative. So we have two negative movements. So let's go ahead and get started with writing our function rule. We know that both the numbers are going to be negative. We just got to figure out what those numbers are. We know they're both going to be negative. So let me get some space over here and put parentheses, and let's make both of the numbers negative. We just got to figure out what they are. So let's figure out what they are. I want to go to the left, right? So I'm going to count to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's 10 to the left. So that's -10 for the X. That's our A. Let me write the rule that we showed y'all up there, down here, so you can see how we plugging in everything. Okay, next, I want to move down. So to get to the B prime. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So in a translation, whenever you translate a picture, all the points move the same distance in the same direction, okay? So I can check all the points, and all of them are gonna have to move left 10 units, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units down. All of the points are gonna have that behavior. So that's -6. And just to make a point, let's go ahead and prove that, okay? So let's look at the letter C. Let's make sure that that is the case. We said left 10, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we said 6 down, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See? All the points are going to move the same direction and the same distance. So there we go. All right, so we have our function rule written. Now let's finish writing it. We got to write the image part. So that's going to be x minus 10 and y minus 6. Voila, we just wrote our function rule. Now let's look at the points. I want you to see how the points kind of gave the answer away here. So my original point was 1, 5. And my new point was -9, -1. So if we look at the x coordinates, the distance between 1 and -9 is 10. And so remember, it went from +1 to a -9. So that means that it went to the left 10 units. So we can see that that is the case on the number line, that it went 10 units to the left. Now let's look at the y coordinates. The y coordinate here is a +5, and that's a -1. So once again, I was positive and then I became negative. So that means that I traveled a total of 6 units down. So you could tell from the coordinates how the image was moved as well. And that's it for translations. Thank you for your time.